Welcome, everybody, to the initial Valpo University football preview this year. Todd Eichel, along with Dave Cicchini, will be with you every single week, getting ready for the upcoming ball game, kind of looking back as well. And Dave, I guess we could start by maybe looking back at last year, where you were coming off the 4-win season. There was hope to build, and it was really an injury-plagued season. You hate to make excuses, but I think it all started with you had key injuries on the offensive line, and then you ended up playing a lot of freshmen there.
Sure.
And it was tough to keep the offense on the field, to grind out first downs when you had so many new guys on the offensive line. Let's start with the offense.
Sure.
How things
sure.
look.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. We were young. We knew we were going to be young going into the season without the injuries. And then the injuries occurred, and we became even younger. And so we played an awful lot of freshmen, particularly on the offensive line. I think there were a couple of games, actually, that we were starting 7 true freshmen towards the end of the season. And while that made for some tough growing pains last year, we're really hopefully going to reap the benefit of that this year. We've got a lot of guys. I always tell people we've got so many returning starters, particularly on the offensive side of the ball. But that being said, we're still young because all those guys are returning and they're sophomores. So they're young. Sophomores are young, particularly in non-scholarship Division I football. But they've got that game experience. They've been through the fire before, really gelling as a unit, and I think that is going to hopefully help us springboard to bigger and better things this coming season.
A lot of people then will ask, well, you guys struggled offensively last year. You're bringing a lot of those guys back. They've got to be better then, right?
Yes.
I mean, in order for that to be good, they've got to become better football
and
players.
It starts with, particularly up front, just basic, strength and conditioning. And that's typically the biggest barrier when a talented freshman on the offensive or really defensive line comes in. Just making that adjustment to, you're 18 or 19 years old and you're going up against a 21 or 22 or in some cases a 23-year-old, and that difference just in terms of the strength and the physicality and the maturity, that wears you down. And while we're not 18 and 19 anymore, we're still 19 and 20, but we're getting closer. We're closing that gap, and hopefully that will make a difference. Where when you look at a number of our games this past season, it was we were close at halftime, went down, went into the locker room down 3, down 7, or tied, and then we came in the second half and just slowly the opposing team's maturity and controlled the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. And we just got worn out as the game went on.
All right, let's go to the quarterback spot, where Ryan Clark obviously saw most of the reps last year.
Right. And every snap was spring ball, too.
And so he is now an experienced quarterback.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you've named him as the starter going in. Your thoughts on where he is now to where he was at the end of last year?
Yeah, I think he was banged up towards the end of last year with a kneecap problem. But he is just such a great competitor, such an intense person. He stayed here over the summer, worked hard, was in the weight room every day and running and studying film. And he overall, his presence, his level of confidence, his mastery of our offensive scheme is night and day to a year ago. Whereas a year ago we were saying, wow, this guy's got a lot of talent, and it really manifested itself in a couple of games where he came up and had some huge numbers, like our win against Davidson. But he's ready. He's ready to take on that role, ready to put the team on his shoulders, and that's what you need to ask, and particularly in our scheme on offense, is to have a quarterback who can shoulder the load.
You need people to make big plays, and that's been kind of a question mark for Valpo football for a long time. Mm-hmm. Can a guy catch the ball 5 yards out of the backfield and go 60? Can a guy go around and beat everybody to the edge and go down the sidelines for a big play? Where are you with those guys this year? There's some guys back that have speed, and I think from a Valpo standpoint, a football fan standpoint, it's going to be good to see Jarrett Morgan on the field a lot this year offensively.
Sure.
Maybe start with him.
Yeah, no, Jarrett is our tailback. He's our starting tailback. He's had a great fall camp. He's still going to do those things. That first kind of when he burst onto the scene as a true freshman in terms of returning kicks and being involved with those types of things, we still need him to make plays for us that way. But his big role for us this year is going to be getting him the ball out of the backfield, both in our run game and our screens and our drop back game, because he's a difference maker. We really feel like it. He's got that speed, he's got that elusiveness, And for a guy who's really not that big, he's got unbelievable toughness. So he's one of many guys coming back from this past year's team that were able to have some really good games and put together really good freshman or sophomore seasons.
Okay, let's go over to the defensive side of the ball, where it would appear, at least from a number standpoint of games played, that the strength would be in the secondary, where you've got a lot of experience back there. Is that the strength?
Yeah, no, I've been saying this for this will be my third year saying this. We keep making steps forwards with the secondary, just in terms of our overall athletic ability, the speed, the quickness, the tackling ability. We just keep getting better and better with every year, and that starts with J.J. Nunez, who's our team captain. He's been fabulous to watch him grow over the last 2 seasons. We're really excited about this year's campaign and what he can bring to the table there. And, of course, he's got a guy who's started an awful lot of games next to him in Kellen Hughes. So both safeties are really good players, physical and athletic. And we've had a number of corners that have played a lot. Adode Kurobo, who missed the spring because of shoulder surgery, is back, and he's at 100%. He's a great athlete. Christian Campbell played a lot as a freshman, and he's doing some good things. Brendan Riley played a lot as a sophomore and has a lot of game experience under his belt as well. So we've got a number of players that just are athletic and experienced, and they're really the veteran group on this defensive side of the ball right now.
Although you bring back a lot of guys on both sides of the ball, I think on defense you lose 2 fantastic players in Green and Guilford.
Yes.
You've got to find a ways, maybe not to replace them with one guy, but with numerous players.
Right. Yeah, I think both of those guys are special, talented players that don't come along every year. I think we have some guys on our team that have that ability to grow into those type of special players. I don't know if we're there yet. Instead we've got more depth. We've got more numbers, and I think hopefully that is going to pay dividends as the season wears on. When you play 2 tough opening games like we do, and if you look a year ago, that really wore us out and put us in the hole for when the league season started. We were banged up and we never fully recovered. Just the depth and the numbers that we have at both the defensive line position and the linebacker position, we feel like there are more options, more guys who are ready to go and help us win football games, and when their time comes and when their number gets called, they're going to be ready to go.
You get right into the schedule with maybe the 2 toughest teams you'll face all year in the first 2 weeks, starting with this upcoming Saturday at Illinois State, perennial top 25 type program. It's tough to start with these teams, but maybe it helps you down the road.
It does. If you can stay healthy through them, absolutely. Our players love to play them. I mean, we talk to them all the time. They relish that opportunity to play against a Division I scholarship program. The better the team, the bigger the challenge, the more excited they are to prove that they belong on that field. So they've got a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, and it's a great opportunity to go out there. And in the case of Illinois State, I think they're ranked 8th in one poll, 10th nationally in the other one that I saw. It's a great opportunity to get better and to prove yourself against what basically is playoff caliber competition.
What do you try to get out of the game?
Well, I think you want to have a combination of get a lot of guys exposure to that type of caliber of player. So we like to play a lot of our players to get numbers exposed and get guys reps and see if there are any guys who, when the lights are on and it's game time, if they maybe show you something that they haven't shown in prior practices or controlled scrimmages. And so we're looking for guys, get an opportunity to get experience and play in those pressure-packed situations and make some plays.
Good luck this week. Good luck this season. Really looking forward to it. Dave, you're number 3. It's time to start piling on the victories.
That's right.
Good luck.
Thanks, Todd.
For head coach Dave Cicchini, this is Todd Eichhoff. Thanks for joining us this week on Valpo Football Preview.